Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Wisdom Circle. Good afternoon, ladies. My name's
Yeah.
Priscilla, and I'd like to welcome our fellow circle members, Jean, Joan, Terry Lee, and Terry Suzuki. And for those of you that don't know, we gather together once a month as a discussion group of women regarding awakening, awareness, and ascension. Our goal is to share, support, and validate each other as well as others who are following a spiritual path. We're here to share and discuss spirituality related theories, experiences, information, and perspectives from diverse backgrounds and points of view. We hope to make you laugh, to feel included, and maybe gain some insight or perspective on whatever is happening to you on your spiritual journey. Our individual paths are unique. No two of us are the same, so please take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. And remember, this is for spiritual and entertainment purposes only. Today is about the sacred search for meaning and connection, and Sunpsychic Jean's going to be our host. And to let you know, all participants' contact details are in the description of each Wisdom Circle video, as is a list of future Wisdom Circle show dates, presenters, and subjects. So please check it out. But now I'm going to turn things over to Miss Jean. Thank you for being here, ladies. Lovely to see you as always.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you, ladies, all for being here. And nice to see everybody in the chat. Thank you all for coming. And this talk, I was telling the ladies earlier that I did a workshop at one of my psychic fairs, and I did this presentation, and I was quite nervous because the people, they don't know me. They've never seen me on YouTube. They're just going to a psychic fair and sitting down and listening to somebody talk, you know? And I didn't know my audience very well. And I said, okay, how many people here understand that you are a soul living in a human body, having a human experience? And like 90% of the people raised their hand. And I
Cool.
was like, you do? Yeah, like, I'm like, "Oh my gosh," I was, like,
That's
overwhelmed. I thought for sure, at best, it would be half or something. They all 90% of them raised their hand, and I just felt so much welcome, so much love, so much understanding, and it really is true. I believe there are more of us out there than we could ever imagine, and you just have to open yourself up and search and find these individuals. Um, it is just my honor and my thrill, and it is through the ability to provide readings for all of you that have helped me to grow in my journey and helped me to grow in my understanding. And some of this is what I've learned along the way, and I wanted to share it with you.
we appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm actually impressed that 90% of the people held their hand up too.
that's
I think
amazing.
that's just so life affirming.
Exactly. It was I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry and hug
Yeah.
them. I'm like, "You're here. You're really here. It's really true. Everybody knows." Like it was so beautiful. And from there, I just was like so uplifted and just really expressed from there. So it was a beautiful experience, and I hope to convey that same thing here for you all. Um, so I believe that we are a spiritually aware community. And the definition of a spiritually aware community is a group of people on a conscious path who are familiar with concepts like soul, higher self, energy, divine presence, and inner knowing. So that's who I believe we are here today. And the um, my inspiration is the questions that we all have, and what is bringing us, what is drawing us to this point in our life. Why is it happening now, and why is it happening at all, and what is the difference, what are the changes that are going on? And this is what I call the sacred search for meaning and connection. And before I get started on the presentation, I just want to let you know that my intention is that you receive the information that is most important for you to learn and that is in your highest good. and to reflect on our sacred yearning for deeper truth, connection, and remembrance. I ask that you keep an open mind. Consider what I say as possibility, not as truth. Reflect on the following suggested concepts and determine for yourself if they resonate with you as truth. Then, and only then, incorporate them gently and ask your higher self to assist with discernment and show you the way forward. It's very important that you consider these as suggestions and options. We all hear the soul's inner calling. There's a collective spiritual awakening happening. And that's why we're all here.
Yes.
We could stop there and that could be the end of our presentation. But so we don't just ask, why am I here? But what is my soul choosing to experience, learn, or heal in this lifetime? And a lot of times when we find ourselves with a dilemma, it's really important to ask ourselves that, what is this trying to teach me? Why am I going through this? What am I supposed to be learning from this? And it switches your power and your perspective and looking at the situation from a different point of view. And it sometimes helps you to get out of that certain mentality and brings you to a more empowering mentality so that you can look at the situation with new eyes, with new understanding and curiosity, and not just overwhelm or strong emotion. Our search for meaning is sacred and is contained within our soul's frequency and vibration. And I know you guys, if you had a nickel for every time I said frequency and vibration, you'd be all rich by now.
We'd all be multimillionaires.
It's really true. And you'll see that so many things are going to be tied back to that frequency and vibration. We acknowledge a multidimensional reality. And I think that we all know that here by connecting to the other realms and connecting to your spirit guides and not just that, but us being able to connect together or connect with one another. Like when you say, can you give me a reading? And I tune into your energy and I pick up on your energy, your frequency, your personality, the things around you, how you're feeling. And this is a multi-dimensional reality. And this is always the way it's been. It's never been taught to us to think of life in this perspective, but our perspective is going to be changing and expanding into this multi-dimensional reality. As spiritual aware beings, we recognize there's more to this 3D world. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We are always connected with our higher dimensions, such as angels, guides, ancestors, and even star nations. Personal practices like meditation, that's really big, y'all. Ceremony, that's very important. And energy work, right? I mean, Priscilla this is how she started her career. And to help us to remember and align. The next one is true connection, goes beyond belief, and it's energetic. Energetic connection. And you all know that we're all here connecting with us and connecting, not just listening to us, you're connecting energetically. You can feel when we raise our altered state of consciousness, when we raise our frequency and vibration, when we're connecting to spirit and loved ones on the other side, we raise our vibration and our awareness. And you all can feel it. You all grow and expand together. And it's through time and space, right? There is no barrier there. So it is energetic, whether through nature, the quantum field, which quantum means beyond time and space, or through divine beings. We attune to the truth. And the truth has a frequency and vibration, and we all can discern what truth feels like, what truth sounds like, what truth resonates like. and that we are all one. And it's truth, but it it takes it you begin to acquire that awareness of that we are all one when you understand that our soul is part of a collective that is all one, and we come down here and we express as an individual and as a unique individual, and we express the one through our own individual expression. Uh, in that connection, we find peace. I mean, that's what we're all in search of. When am I going to find peace? When am I going to get that rest? When am I going to feel contentment? You know, and when can I just relax and enjoy my life? That's what we all are searching for. When am I going to be able to have fun and not worry about what's coming around the corner? And that's what we feel is peace. And with the connection, we also we find guidance and renewal. The more we remember who we are, the more we can help others to do the same by leading by example. And not only leading by example, but just the energetic quality and the energetic radiance that we give out when we are in our authentic frequency and vibration and expression. This is contagious to others around us. And once we feel this peace and contentment, and we have this understanding of who we truly are, it really does ripple out to all other humanity. Not everybody, but most. So then next, I want to talk about honoring the diversity of paths. There are infinite expressions of the same spirit. Like I said, we're all individuals expressing the same spirit. Some are led through sacred texts. Some really are activated by reading books and going back into history and researching all of the beginning of time. Others through starseed memory, when we can remember our past lives or other lifetimes in other worlds. I'll just mention it that way. And or earth-based wisdom. I mean, this earth has so much wisdom to share with us, and it's really exciting to express our own spirit through that earth-based wisdom. What unites us is the understanding that we are a divine, sovereign, and deeply connected. Everybody knows that this soul that's inside of us is part of the divine, and that we are a sovereign being just by being born, and that we are all deeply connected. You guys, that goes without saying. It's understood that humans are here to participate in a full range of experiences. That's why we have incarnated. Ironically, we learn from the bad more than the good. And we are in the process of a spiritual evolution. These experiences are essential to evolve. And this is why we have these obstacles, these opportunities for growth and for learning. It's that friction point that we find ourselves. This is what they mean by the bad, the obstacles, the things that we need to grow and expand, be creative in order to overcome or to persevere. And this is what causes us to stretch and to grow and to become stronger. And without those obstacles, we would just it would not we would just be the same. We would still be toddlers, so to speak. So you choose to be here now to help humanity shift from fear and old patterns into greater soul-guided living. We're here to help humanity shift from fear and old patterns. If that is not true, right here, right now, today, in this time and space in history, I don't know what is. We are shifting from fear and old patterns, old expectations, old ways of societal norms, and we're changing. And that's why we're here. That's why we're all incarnated here together. And we're moving into greater soul guided living. That's that balance that we're going to be listening to our spirit guides and angels and ancestors, and listening to our own soul, being more in tune with ourselves. And this is the whole the goal of this incarnation. The way forward is to quiet the mind. And that's that monkey mind. That's that chatter and judgment and ego mind, right? Feel into the heart. And the heart is where the energetic force that the soul comes through, is into the heart and into our soul, and follow that inner knowing, and learning how to trust this. And it's almost like unlearning what we've been taught all of, most of our lives, and relearning what it is to be our authentic true self. So we all chose to incarnate now to help with the collective transition. I want to know, how many people know that we're all here to help with a collective transition? How many here know that we're here incarnated right now? And if you can, like, put your hand up or just put me in the chat and let me know if you guys are aware that we are. That's why we're here, is there is a transition and evolution of humanity on this earth. It's not by chance that you're incarnated right here, right now, in this point in time in history. You're not here right now to endure suffering. You're here, right now, to help with a collective transition. Yep. It's okay. It's okay. You may or may not be aware of it. It's okay if you feel like you're still learning and you're not totally aware, and that's perfectly fine. And thank you. And Lisa's like, me, but learning. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the reason why we're here right now today. Your soul aspect and your human aspect run on the same system. In other words, your soul and your human heart are intertwined. The soul's wisdom lives as a feeling or a knowing in your heart. So this is the part that they want us to trust. This is the part that they want us to lead us along the way. The problem is the analytical, conditioned mind, not you. It's our overthinking, our fears, our old beliefs that create chaos and may block a soul guidance. And this is what I teach in all of my classes, is in order to let go of our analytical, judgmental, egoic part of our brain, and allow our creativity and our exploration to be free. And this is the process. And I just wonder, is every time that we incarnate, does it give us the option to let go of the analytical mind and to find our soul and our heart every time we incarnate? Is this what the goal is every time we incarnate? I wonder that sometimes. Like, is it just this point in time? Is it just this lifetime? Or is it every lifetime that we always have this way of being taught or conditioned, and then a way to back, like finding our way back home? And it's not just when we cross over to the other side. It's that they want us to find our way back home here to who we truly are, and to remember it while we're still here in this incarnation, and while our feet are still planted on this earth. Letting go of what the old patterns, what our old systems, what our old expectations frees us. Everybody says, oh, we want to be free. Well, free yourself and allow yourself to be authentically you. Even if you try it for an hour a week, even if you try it for maybe an afternoon, allow yourself to be free. Allow yourself to follow your own whims, your own thoughts. If you have a thought to do something, to go somewhere, to wear something, to cook something, be spontaneous without judgment, without shrinking yourself. And, if you have an idea, follow up on it. And it's really rare because we have obligations and expectations that our life is led by, right? We all have responsibilities that take up all the time in the world, and then we're exhausted. So letting go of some of those expectations really frees us and brings us back that energetic quality, that passion, the engine that drives the creativity and the co-creation. Releasing energies, beliefs, and old patterns that no longer serve creates a space for soul-based awareness. It truly does. We can't grab onto something new without letting go. In fact, I think I just posted that on my Instagram today, surprisingly enough. Okay. Inner knowing awareness is real guidance. You may not get a voice or a picture. It's often a quiet nudge or conviction that directs you. It's an inner knowing or an awareness. Even if it's just a thought, it's very, very subtle. It's very subtle. Surrender does not mean giving up when we surrender to spirit, when we surrender to our authentic self. Surrender here means trusting the inner compass and following that guidance, even if the mind doubts it. That's what I say. Give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Surrender. Saying, you know what? That dime on the ground, I'm saying it's from my dad. I don't know. I can't be sure, but I'm saying, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that I would not have looked down to see that dime unless it was for me. And with that open awareness and that allowance, that allows more signs, synchronicities, and special moments, aha moments to come in through that. If we're doubting and we say, oh, that dime on the floor that I thought of my dad as soon as I saw it, I can't be sure that's my dad. Even though I thought of it, I probably was just thinking of my dad. We can explain away so much. We really can second guess ourselves. And there is no certainty. There is no for sure. There is only belief, allowance, awareness. It's very subtle. And it's just that little shift. Okay, I'll keep going. Sorry. And this is a collective shift that we're all going through, that we're experiencing. The work is both personal and global. We need each and every one of us together to generate this frequency and this awareness, to allow others to do the same, to have the permission to do the same, and to expand this light that we all have around us, that we all have between us and connecting us. As individuals align with their souls, humanity's consciousness shifts towards love and fluidity. As individuals align with our souls, humanity's consciousness shifts. It's like the 100th monkey, right? We'll talk about the 100th monkey. So I do have some tips, but I'm just going to stop there for a little bit of a breather and see how everybody is doing. And I wanted to check my time. Glimmers, you're right. Thank you, Linda Kelzer. That was nice. So there are ways of practicing, and I don't know if you ladies can maybe think about some ways that you practice that help you to connect and help you to connect to source, even sometimes just doing the dishes. I know that water is a wonderful conductor of energy, and sometimes I get aha moments and I have to quick dry off my hands and write something down. It's in the everyday, it's in the allowance, it's in the relaxation, it's in the mundane in between. We get little inspirations. Ladies, do do you remember a time or a place where you connect
The shower.
or in your
The
shower?
shower, right?
A lot of times,
Yeah.
but mainly through meditation and rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Terry Lee?
It can be a bit like an avalanche, I think, because you start with the little things, like you said, it's like a whisper, a knowing, almost a tap on the shoulder. Maybe you're thinking about something and a little bird lands on the windowsill, and as you said, you go, "Oh, that's a message from spirit. That's a sign. That's a sign of love." And then once you open that up, it can come from many directions. You'll hear a song. You'll find out about a book that leads you down a spiritual path. You'll see something on YouTube that enlightens you. It's an avalanche because once you open that door, that's the sign to your guides and angels and the creator that, yes, I'm ready. I'm willing. I know that I'm here for a purpose and bring it on. There you go.
It's a
If
really
we
good
could-
example.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If we could go back to the dime example,
Mhm.
there's layers to this. So
Mhm.
even seeing the dime and saying, "Oh, I'm lucky today," and pick up the dime.
Yep.
That's one level. And then seeing the dime, picking it up, say, I was just thinking of my dad. My dad must have sent that. You go to a different level. And
Mhm.
it just, by going down these levels, you open yourself up to just more and more. And so I love that idea to allow truth to come in by accepting it.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, and just the attitude that you bring. There is so much in this world to get to feel really heavy from, and sometimes it's an act of defiance or of bravery in some cases to just sort of like, yeah, I know that's happening, but I'm going to have a good day. Whatever, and and then something will happen. Well, it's like the universe picks up on your high vibe. I was out for a walk and I was so happy. I was after a big snowstorm. There was a place where they plow pretty much. And I had my shoes with spikes on them. And I was so happy that I could get out in this beautiful day, even though it was be too icy to walk around my neighborhood. And on a walk, I just thought, oh, I'm so fortunate that they plow here. And on this walk, I came to one place where I was coming up on a corner and I thought, uh-oh, they haven't plowed here yet. This is around a park. So it was the Park Service usually plows. And as I came within 20 feet of it, the plow showed up. And it was like, oh, okay, there. And it kind of solved that problem. And it's like just these little things. And I think it happened because I had a great attitude and because other good things had happened to me. Oh, actually, I'm sorry for this kind of longer story. But one of the things that happened was I was making Thanksgiving desserts to bring to family that couldn't make it for Thanksgiving. And I was making a pumpkin flan, which is one of my specialties, and it's really good. But I thought you have to puree the pumpkin in a blender or something. And it's always hard to get all the stuff out of it. So I thought, oh, I'll just put the eggs in there with it and blended it up. Well, physics being what it is, that made it made twice as much batter because the egg whites and everything. I thought, what am I going to do with all this? So I just made in some different dishes and gave some of them away to neighbors. Funny thing, after the big snow, the one neighbor was out early and shoveled my walk for me. And
That was
and
nice.
yeah, and the other one said, "Oh, this was great. Her kids live in half time with her and half time with her husband." And she said, "Oh, this was such a nice thing to have because they came over, and then they were going to go back to her husband's because she was traveling or something. And it was just the perfect thing to draw us together before she had to leave. And it was like it all came from a mistake. And it's like, okay, so don't feel so bad when you make mistakes because good things can happen from it too. And it's like the universe picks up on that and expands it and all of that."
That's a beautiful story, Joan. And I love that you look for that validation, that synchronicity, and that blessings and little nudges that come in to validate that we're heard and we're seen, and that rewarded in a way, but just validated,
Yeah.
is reward enough sometimes. But how beautiful is that? I love that when the magic happens, that's what I call it anyway. The magic happens and you're like, whoa, like you can feel that there was a validation from the universe or from spirit, and that was like divine intervention. It's just so magical when these things happen to us. And I like to call it out. And then, my husband rolls his eyes and I'm like, oh, that, I'm like, no, it was
Yeah.
really the angels. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's so much fun, you guys. And, I know that I'm preaching to the choir here. It's just a lot of fun to talk about. There's some steps, some little practical steps that I wanted to suggest. And even if we pause daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes, sit quietly and breathe and bring attention to your heart space. Ask one simple question and wait for a feeling or a nudge. And you can practice this every day. You don't always have to expect an answer, but pretty soon, if you do it every day, you'll either get a response when you ask your question, or you'll get a response within the next 24 to 48 hours. And it's very magical. We are more powerful than we realize. And it's just been taught out of us. So it's important to incorporate some of these suggestions. You can also take a moment and notice the difference between your mind and your heart. When advice or a choice comes, notice if it feels like fear or logic or a calm knowing. Trust the calm knowing. And our messages and our guidance from our loved ones and angels and spirit guides is always going to be loving. It's not going to be fear-based. It's not going to be, you better go or else, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be like, you'll be fine. Keep going. It's very subtle, you guys. It's very subtle. That's why they want us to quiet ourselves down. That's why they want us to listen and clear our minds, because the energy is very subtle. And sometimes we feel like it comes from us, especially when we get those little aha moments, those little thoughts. And it doesn't mean that we always have to be at that pace 24/7, but throughout the day, try and slow yourself down and just listen. It's really very magical. Let go of one small thing at a time, like your expectation of what society would do for us, or whether or not somebody's going to treat you differently than what they did the time before. Sometimes we have to accept people are going to be who they are, and that people may not grow outside of their current status and live a very sheltered and shallow life, and no matter what we do or how much we hope that they change, they may not change. So we need to, and these are the things that sort of hold us back and bring us down, because we can't control how other people may act. But it's important to let go of that and to understand that they are on their spiritual journey too. And that, we cannot, as just like nobody can change us, we cannot change anybody. And in order to let go of that need to change people, or that need to hope that it would be different, and just accept it for what it is, not that it's right, not that you don't wish it would be better, but just accepting it, it releases that resistance and allows us to continue and move with the flow. It's not holding us back.
I think it's part of that. It's important to remember that what other people think about you is none of your business. It's only your business to worry about who and what you are, and not pay attention to what other people, their expectations of you are.
I agree. And that's some of the hardest is the relationships, and, living, with other people, and even like somebody at the market or something, somebody that you meet on the street, and seeing that their behavior is one way and wishing that it would be another. So, and also within ourselves, one thing that certain things that we may practice, like if we eat sugar every single day and we want to try and stay away from sugar, they say pick one habit or thought or belief that you can release this week and notice the space that it creates, because we are all tied. Our energy is tied. And that's what they say about decluttering, right? We feel rejuvenated and energized when we declutter our linen closet, or even just take everything out and fold it neatly again. We feel differently because these things are energetically tied to us. They also suggest we follow small, subtle nudges. And I want to know how many of you feel your nudges and have felt a nudge in the past before. I'm pretty confident that almost all of you have. And if not, you may have and may not realize that that's what it was. If you get a tiny pull to do something, take a step. Small actions train trust. And, this is what I say sometimes, incorporate this in the everyday. Like, should I have oatmeal or eggs this morning? Should I have salmon or make spaghetti? Should I wear the black shirt or the red shirt? And just try and feel. And obviously we always choose what we feel guided to. Sometimes you put it on and you're like, nope, that's not going to work because it just doesn't feel right. And you do something else, or you make something else, and follow your nudges, and you say, Jean, that's what I do all the time. Yep. But it is listening to your own inner guidance, your own preferences, your own joy. It will help to direct you and pull you in that direction. That's what it is. And people are like, that's how it always is. Yeah, that's the connection to your inner knowing. Practice surrender intentionally. When stuck, say, I choose to trust my soul's guidance, and then do one tiny step towards that trust. These are just suggestions of little practices that you might want to incorporate. I also just want to, I have a little quote here. It says, you were chosen to be here now. Your soul's wisdom lives in your heart. All your soul's wisdom, all of our lifetimes that we've ever lived is in here in your soul. And in this incarnation, all of those resources from all of that wisdom, all of those lessons from those lifetimes are available here as a resource. All we need to do is to access this, and we all can access this ourselves. Just quiet the mind and listen to the gentle nudges. Follow them. Let go of fear and old stories. Small acts of trust shift your life and help humanity to move forward, to move towards love. I also have a quote here from Dr. Wayne Dyer. I don't know if he's one of my favorite, but I do find a lot of his information and quotes really resonate with me. And he is inspiring. I don't know, I would say he's my favorite, but he says, a sense of purpose is not something that you find. It's something that you are. Truth is not something that you look for. It's something that you live. So I just thought that was so very profound, that we think truth is something and not who we are. And a sense of purpose is something that we do, not something that we become. I just thought that was really very inspirational and motivating for me, very much. So what do we have? We have some people in here. I'm going to move us back to the gallery. And it looks like Kid Princess says, I've learned to let go of being right. Sometimes it's best not to argue with someone who doesn't
Understand
the clearer picture. You're right. Sometimes it's not, you it's not always worth the effort to try and convince somebody, because no matter how much effort we make or take, it doesn't always make a difference. But it doesn't, I would have to say, it's not a bad idea to leave a seed, to set a seed. What do they call that? Drop a seed? What do they call
Plant a
it?
seed.
Plant a seed. Drop a seed.
That works too.
You know, and let that marinate with them. It, you know, state a statement of truth, and then just walk away without having to explain it or expect them to listen to it. Terry Lee?
Yes, I find it that it's so important, and it expands our spiritual power when we understand that everybody's a soul on the journey. And I was recently at a celebration of my husband's family, and it was just a wonderful time. And I'm sitting next to his brother, and we're talking about this or that. And then I can't remember how it came up, but he looked at me and he goes, "You know, the earth is flat." And I go, "Okay." And then I went on with my dinner. But what I felt for him was a great deal of love at where he is, where he's at, who he is, his honoring his journey, right? I didn't have to set him straight. I didn't have to get all scientific and show all the stuff that I know and impress everybody with. It was, okay.
Let them. Let them.
And afterward, I thanked my guys. I said, "Thank you for helping me be on the ball on that," because it kind of caught me by surprise.
Of course. Yeah.
And he was serious. He wasn't joking with me.
Yeah. It's we all have to go through some learning, some, evolution in our learning. And there was a time that I didn't know any of this. And there was a time that I thought that I knew it all. And there was a time that I thought, that I could outsmart people. And you can't. You just can't. And you live and you learn, and spirit will show you who you truly are and humble you when we try and step outside of our bounds, I guess. And when we get into our ego, that's often when that happens, when we get too much in our ego. But then I grew out of my 20s and got into my 30s and learned some really profound lessons very quickly, and opened up my mind. Thank God. It was you never know choices. You never know what people's choices are. You never walk in somebody else's shoes and live their life. You were not brought up by their parents. You were not brought up at their time. You didn't have their friends. You didn't have their challenges. You just don't know that you wouldn't have acted the same if you had those same experiences growing up or to this point in your life. And it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It just means that it's important to have that perspective and understanding. So Venus, she says, we could be seeing and hearing the same thing as others, but have totally different perspectives. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wise. That's so wise. Beautiful. Beautiful, Venus. Yeah. And I think to that, I feel like it means that we're on a different frequency, and a different type of awareness. It's really important. And I think I would wish more people would be sort of along with us and open to seeing reality, and getting to know their own soul's vibration and learning more about who they truly are. And I just don't know how that would be, letting go of that control, because there is no control, but we need to live in harmony. So the control is not harmony. The control is living and let live. However, we need to live in harmony. So we can't let somebody, we can let them live as long as they're not doing any harm to anybody else.
Right.
There's that fine line. There's that fine line of responsibility and obligation, you know?
Well, it's love your neighbor like you love yourself. Well said by Master Jesus, and the thing of it is, boy, we've all done things that we're like, oh, I made a bad choice. That was not, I was not in the right space when I made that choice. And you have to forgive yourself and love yourself. And that's very much a part of loving your neighbor as yourself, and pray for him. Pray for him. That's the other thing Jesus said, pray for your enemies. And just ask. I always pray for the enlightenment of humanity. When I just go, it's crazy, I can't. Please pray for the enlightenment of humanity. And that's all a part of what we're all, with everybody out there in the chat, we're all a part of this. We're all a part of this enlightenment that's coming down and showering us with blessings and love and light and joy. And that's the message to other people. You may not even have to say anything to them and still affect their life.
It really has helped me to receive the lessons that your loved ones come through with. And they come through with such passion. Somebody asked for a message from their mother, and their mother was holding up this clipboard, and there was like pages on the clipboard, and she's showing me, she's saying, there is no clipboard of judgment. There is nothing written down here that you're going to be judged about when you get here. We're not writing things down and judging you from here. There is no judgment. And she was so emphatic because this woman had a fear of, if her mother was mad at her for the way that she made decisions about the end of life care. And her mother was like, there is no judgment here. But she showed it to me so emphatically so that I could convey this to her daughter, and her daughter could be relieved of this burden that she felt judged all the time. She was actually judging herself. This is a very typical, but it broadened and opened up my mind so much. I could feel what she was trying to say. There's no judgment. We judge ourselves. We need to lighten up and give ourselves a break, give ourselves, be kind to ourselves and let ourselves off the hook and, forgive ourselves. But really, there just is no judgment. There is just lessons to be learned. And I love the one that says, it's a lesson, not a life sentence. It's a lesson to be learned. Yeah. And then we continue. This is not a whole life sentence. You don't need to carry that lesson that you did back in college throughout your whole life. You don't have to condemn yourself and beat yourself up that whole time. If you learn your lesson, you let it go. And they say that humanity loves to be guilty. We love to have burdens. We love to feel like, that we were some sort of, heathen or something, no, we just made a mistake, and we learned and we moved on. And, it's just important to understand, to be kind to ourselves, to be kind to that, to the human part, because the soul part really has a lot of work here to do. The soul part has a lot of expression and a lot of living to do, and a lot of creating, like co-creating to do. And the more that we can be kind to our human and take care of our human and be gentle with our human, the more then our soul can really flourish and express itself. What do you ladies think?
Oh, that's beautifully said, Jane.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Well, let me see. I do have another example. I did a reading for a gentleman who passed. It was a friend of one of you, and you may remember this. I don't remember. I don't write down names, so, to keep the privacy of everybody. But I did read for a soul. It was a person's friend. And this friend says, there is no longer any chaos, no tragedy, no trauma, and no confusion. So I didn't know how this person passed, but apparently it was some sort of a unexpected trauma or tragic occurrence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the words that they told me. And he was so serene. He's very calm and serene. He is at peace. He can
Mhm.
see things clearly. So perhaps he was confused or going through some trauma in emotionally. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he told me this. I'm calm and serene and I'm at peace. I can see things clearly. And it's just such a gift when they come through so beautifully. He
Mhm.
says, he was expected. They knew I was coming, even though nobody knew he was going to die, even though there was no expectation. They all knew he was coming. They were all expecting him. And how it just is so reassuring to know that even when it's unexpected and tragic,
Yeah.
that the people on the other side knew he was coming. They were expecting him and open arms and helping him. There was no frantic reaction. No one was caught off guard. Yet, when we leave others behind, when others are left behind after a loved one passes, all of that is still going on.
Yeah.
And we worry about the loved one on the other side feeling what we're feeling here. But it's really important to understand they want us to be at peace. They want us to feel this serenity. They want us to let go of the chaos and the trauma. And they want us to mend and heal and move forward in the best way that we can without them. They don't want us to be burdened or to have this fear around us that, it could happen again. There's terrible shootings and things, or, whatever the tragedy was, but it's important to walk around with a confidence that no matter what happens and no matter how we go, that we'll be met with open arms, with expectation, with love, and without fear and chaos. That is just it was so valuable to me to hear him say that. And I could feel, it was a reading on the YouTube, and I could feel the other person just like their energy just relaxed and was able to release some of that angst, some of that worry about their loved one. And it's easier said than done. It truly is. But these are just some suggestions and some examples to help us through these difficult times. And I just want to thank you. And that's the end of my presentation.
Beautiful, Jane.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic,
That's
Jean.
beautiful. Yeah. I
Thank
just want to tag on to what you had to say. I have never read a soul that was angry.
Mm-mm.
I have never read a soul that was angry at anybody else. And I've
Mhm.
had people have questions like, well, who in the family did this and took this over and cheated us? And they're like, hey, it's all about love. It's all about it. And they just come right back. And it's very frustrating for some people. But you got to say what they have to say, because that's just the pure love and light energy of what is really happening. And it's hurtful sometimes to people to be told that that's not important to your soul on the other side. They're there. They're at peace, as you said, nothing but love and light. Yeah, but you got to just let it go and pray that they learn the lesson down the track, that they figure it out later. And I'm sure that's what our loved ones on the other side do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Well, ladies, thank you all so much for this today. Jean, that was fantastic as always. I appreciate each and every one of you for your contributions. And maybe you can let us know what you're up to the rest of the week. We're starting with Jean, maybe? Where are you on next?
I'll be right there 1 second. Tomorrow, I'm on with Joan and Gerald.
Yay!
Hey,
Oh,
we
you
love
guys are
Joan and
great together.
Gerald.
And that's at 12 noon Eastern, and that's 11 a.m. Central. And then on Friday, I have Annie Bear coming on my channel. We're going to have a little chat and get to know each other a little bit and have a little bit of fun. And then on Friday evening at 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. is I'll be on with Ginger Faye Tro, and we're going to have lots of fun there. Also, I have a psychic fair on Sunday, and
You're a busy lady.
Yes.
it all comes together in this one first week of the month somehow. And I don't plan it this way, but it just happens. Let me just show you this, because I was really very honored and grateful for the shout out that they did. This is the Psychic Affairs of Maryland that this is the first time I'm going to be doing an event with them. And they did this beautiful vendor spotlight. Now they do it with all their other vendors, but I didn't know, since I was new, if you had to do something special. And I was surprised this morning to find this on my Facebook. I'm like, oh, they did me too.
That's great.
Yeah. And that's 9 a.m. on Sunday, the 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's early.
I know it is early, especially when you have to get there an hour
early.
before to set up. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
But so I'm going to have fun. How about you?
Yeah,
How
you
about
will.
everybody?
What about you, wisdom seeker Joan?
Well, as Jean said, she and Gerald of Tarot Stash and I will be on tomorrow for Enlightened Insights, which is always fun. And then a week from tomorrow, Jean and Scott Scorpio Sun Tarot and I will be reading together. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
And Terry Suzuki, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, this Saturday, if anyone's in Everett, Washington, I have a in-person my metaphysical fair. So you can come and get a reading. I believe I am also teaching how to use pendulums. So I think that's going to be at the 4 o'clock hour. But so I'll just be in the Carl Gibson Center in Everett, Washington, doing that. And then next Tuesday, then I'm with Jean and Joan on another show that we used to have every other week.
Fantastic. Jean, they're asking what city you're going to be in on Sunday. Where it is you're going to be.
It's in Bowie, Maryland. Bowie. It's pronounced Bowie.
Really?
Bowie in Maryland.
All right.
Yeah, it has a link. Let me see my Instagram. I have the link in that.
Perfect. Terry Lee, what about you?
Well, I'll be on this Wednesday, December 3rd, and that's at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, and I'll be reading solo. So if you've got some questions, I saw some of you came in with some questions, bring them on over to my channel, Pure Visionary Psychic Medium, and ask your question there. Be happy to read.
All these ladies are fantastic readers. So please, please, please check out their websites. Schedule an appointment if you have some questions that you need answered. I highly recommend each and every one of them. Fantastic readers, as well as fantastic human beings. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We'll catch you again in January. I have no idea what the subject matter is going to be, but we will find out. We will determine. Anyway.
We have Val coming on your channel, right? I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, definitely. Most definitely. I have no idea where I will be at that point. Right now, I'm in Palm Springs, headed to Sedona tomorrow, then Santa Fe, and back to Colorado.
Oh, lucky girl.
And then I'll be joining Terry Suzuki in Seattle for Christmas. I'll be up in her neck of the woods. So that's going to be special. Yeah, very special.
Cool.
Chat, thank you so much for your participation and being here today. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I just want to send love and light to everyone and have a wonderful week. And until next time, thanks for being here. And bye-bye.
Bye.